Welcome guys, back with another sales call breakdown. So this sales call is a 3,000 US dollar upfront close. Okay, again, it's not going to be the smoothest, even though I am making it smooth. So as you guys all know, I have built a multiple six-figure online fitness coaching company, and at the moment I'm helping other online fitness coaches scale with my twin brother, who is the co-owner of our company. And basically this is a raw sales call breakdown of a 3,000 USD upfront close. There are a bunch of objections being handled, right? Also, there is the problem of the prospect needing to jump off of the call, right, for various reasons. The big issue will be that we will need to face is that the prospect will need to talk with his partner, right? I'm pretty sure that you have met with this issue many times before. Here it's going to be an easy solution, right? And I'm going to explain why later down, but you're going to see it throughout the call. Before, basically, I've explained my entire process, my entire method, and I'm getting close to the point where I'm literally pitching my price, trying to get the prospect into the program, and the objection handling will start, right? So pre-handling the objections, like I already pre-handled a lot of the objections. The prospect previously had issues with dieting, so I had to show diet plans, all those things. So there was already some pre-handling involved, but I'm going to just show you the most interesting and most valuable part of this course. So let's get into it. Yeah, that's basically the whole the whole process. So I would like to hear, what do you think of the process? Again, always ask, what does the prospect think of the process, right? Before jumping into your price, don't rush there, all right? First, you need to know if there are any objections.
I think it's going to be really good for me. I think having the structure of knowing what I'm eating rather than just eating things randomly, and being able to do something that's not too disruptive, but just is better for me, and hopefully will, just make me feel generally better about myself as well as body shape, and remove some of that fatigue. So the mixture of the workouts, the accountability, the meal structure, and still being able to do what I want to do, I think sounds amazing. Yeah.
Sounds good, man. And look, just the last thing. So that was great, right? He's really enthusiastic about the method. By the way, Steven is an absolute beast, an absolute champion. So he became a really good client. He got amazing results, right? So I just wanted to put that out there. He's an action taker, right? But that doesn't mean that you still don't need to do proper sales in order to get someone into the program, right? There could still be issues. You still need to help people make the right decision for them. Here, right? Obviously, look, I think you already understand the most important thing for me is just alignment, right? That we are on the same page. Also, if you're going to work together. Yeah. So, just to make sure that we're on the same page, if we will need to do it in a bit more of a silly way, right? One being 1 to 10 process. No, Zoltan, I don't think this is something that's for me. And 10 being, yep, I'm really confident that I can get the results with this program. I would love to jump in. Between 1 to 10, what number would you give to the program? Okay, again, the 1 to 10 process, I do it on every sales call, right? You need to do it in a way, don't just throw it out there. And I say this in every single breakdown that I do, okay? But this might be the first breakdown that you're watching, right? Don't just throw it out there, okay? Always make sure that you explain why you are doing the 1 to 10 process, because it can sound really salesy, it can sound really pushy if you're just asking between 1 to 10, right? What do you think of the program? It can be like out of a sales pitch, like out of a movie. Okay, so people are not stupid, right? They know when you want to sell them something. Okay, so instead, always explain why I need to ask this question and be honest, right? You just want to make sure that you're on the same page. You're going to invest all of your one-on-one time into this client. You're going to invest a lot of your resources into this client, right? You should always come from the frame that you have enough clients, enough calls, right? So always be honest and just explain that this question is rather for them and not for you, and this should be true. Okay, you should never have the agenda of like, oh my god, I need to solve objections, right? You should always come from the agenda of honestly being curious about, okay, between 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with what you heard? Are there any concerns? And then you can solve any concerns that they have.
I'd probably give an 8. I think I'm on their level of, I think this is something I can do, and I'm committed, and I've got a lot out of watching the videos and seeing what you've shared today, that it's something I definitely can do. I think I need that extra push to get me towards a 10, just because I'm in that kind of state of fatigue. It's a lot of information to take in as well. But I would say I'm a high 8 to 9.
Okay, that was a very confident 8, okay, even though he already mentioned maybe a couple of issues, right? But that was a very confident 8. At this stage, I might even move ahead, right? In certain cases, like I might even not ask any further more questions, just go to the price, right? But 99% of the times you should ask questions still, right? Because he said an 8, he still mentioned a couple of things, right? He kind of needs that extra push. It wasn't like 100% like 10, right? So you should definitely dig a little bit deeper, make sure that they don't have any other issues. Okay, no, sounds good, man. Yes, of course, and thank you very much. And obviously, seeing the results is what's going to get you the 10, right? So that's the most important thing. So the last thing is obviously the business side of things. So the full program, right? So obviously, on this instance, right, I felt that that's a very strong 8, right? As I already explained, I messed up a little bit. Okay, so again, this is a mistake. Generally speaking, if you're doing the 1 to 10 process, then someone gives you this number, always just to be sure ask, okay, what would make it a 10, right? Just to give them the chance to explain any concerns. As I mentioned before, I did a lot of pre-handling on this call, right? But I decided to go to the price, right? I felt that the buying temperature is big enough, right? This person is convinced enough, so that's why I went ahead. Is 12 weeks long. The price for that is 3,000 US dollars for the 12 weeks, okay, altogether. Now, obviously, for that, you're going to get the coaching, you're going to get everything, the meal plans every single week, the workout plans, adjusting 24/7 accountability, talking with you, being available for you 24/7 whenever you want to call us. But that's one thing, okay? I think the most important thing here, again, features of the program, and now I'm going to sell the transformation. Again, I say this on every single breakdown, right? Never sell based on features. If you saw the movie Wolf of Wall Street, right, the scene where he says, Sam, eat this pen, okay, it's actually true. You don't want to start explaining how nicely that pen writes. Nobody gives a shit, okay? What people give a shit about is that what you're selling is something that they need, and that they are going to get the end result with that thing that you sell, right? They want a transformation, especially in a service, especially in a weight loss service. So explain the features. Those are the means to get to the end goal. But then sell the transformation, sell that dream state. That's very important. Is that, look, man, for a year, you've been kind of fighting against this, right? Trying to do your best, trying to go on a diet, trying to run. But it is literally getting to the point where your habits, instead of getting better, they just, they just start getting a little bit worse, week to week to week, month to month to month. Especially in the last 3 months, you mentioned that you've been feeling this. And I think the most important thing is the transformation that you can get. So if you really put some skin in the game, invest into your health and fitness, go with a structure that you understand could work for you, go with a coach that you could trust, that could actually hold you accountable in the form of me and my twin brother. I think the transformation is the most important. Inside 12 weeks, you don't need to worry about any of those issues. You lost the 20 pounds, you're back where you wanted to be, and you have a new healthy lifestyle that you can maintain for the months to come. So this whole negative snowball can become a positive snowball basically by Christmas, even faster than Christmas, right? So that would be the goal. Before the new year, you could be the new you. And I think that's the most important thing. I would love to help you with that. I would love to go ahead with coaching you. So what do you say, man? Extremely strong pitch. Okay, obviously, given the fact that I pre-handled a lot of the objections through my pitch, right? I explained all the details why it's going to be easy for him. I just really had to paint his health state, then paint his dream state, and connect the two dots with this program, saying that inside 12 weeks from the health state, he's going to go to the dream state. Extremely easy and straightforward process. I see no fitness coaches out there doing this, and this is why you're probably not closing sales and you get objected even for $150. So yeah, that's very important.
I would say, yeah, I'd like to just, if you can send me the info and details by email. I think the price is good for me. I'm in a position I'm able to do that. So yeah, I'm happy. Sounds good.
Okay, so that's very positive, all right? It's basically a close, or at least I believe so, right? But there can always be new issues coming up, which there are going to be, okay? But so far, it's a very, very smooth close. I did amazingly so far. It was a little bit obvious that he got a bit, nervous about the price, like about the whole thing, the making the decision. Like you could see it on my prospect's body language, right? Which is no problem, okay? The main thing is that you need to stay calm, go ahead with the process, right? Close the deal. Man, I mean, look, if if you want to jump into the program, the easiest would be if I could get things rolling right now really quickly. So it would take like another. So obviously my prospect said, send me everything over and I take a look at it, right? Never let them do that, okay? Always just go ahead with the close right then and there on the call, okay? That's very important. 2-3 minutes, right? If you could write down, so the next steps would be, just so it's clear, is basically I would just get ready quickly with the contract, right? It's really, really. As you can see, I got a little bit, maybe I lost frame a little bit. How I was talking, I wasn't slow, right? I didn't really, I had to think a little bit about what I am saying. Even the best salespeople can make mistakes. Nothing really bad happened, right? Then I got my composure together, right? Like I just immediately started explaining, okay, so next steps. Quick. I would just need to put my own signature on it, send it to you on email. You would need to run through it. Everything that we talked about is going to be in there. Feel free to run through it. If everything is understandable, you sign it. Then I'm going to, payment should happen on PayPal. I would send you a PayPal request. You can fill that out. And then immediately I can put you into the WhatsApp group as well. And I can send you the question sheet and all of those things. We can get things rolling and we can start actually transforming. So if you have time for that, I would love to do that really quickly. If you could send me your home address really quickly here in the Zoom chat, I will just take 2 minutes and everything will be done. Right, so I just forced, I just pushed on the fact that, yeah, let's get it rolling right now.
Yeah, I do have to run because I have a 12 o'clock meeting. I'm so sorry, I do need to jump off, but can we reconnect to do this quickly later today or?
Oftentimes, when someone says this right after the pitch, when they should sign the contract and transfer the amount, it's an excuse for them to get out of the call, right? So I need to make sure what's up. Unfortunately, sometimes you can't do anything with that, right? Because if you push too strong on the fact that they should stay on the call, it becomes salesy, right? It becomes, it can kill the vibe of the call, it can kill trust. Now, in this instance, obviously, our prospect gave a very strong yes before, right? So it's really, really sure that he actually does want to do this. He wants to jump into this program. He just kind of really need to go. Okay, that I also had that gut feeling, and obviously based on the call, that was the reality. But most of the times, make sure that you do your best to keep the prospect on the call and get the close then and there. Today is definitely possible, man. Today is definitely possible. What time are you thinking? What time would you be able to basically do the whole? Also, if someone says that they want to jump back on the call, they suggested that they want to jump back on a follow-up call the same day, right? That's a huge sign that they want to jump into the program. And oftentimes, if you start pushing there, right, you can mess up this trust, okay? Still, I advise you always go for the close, right? Be a hardcore closer, right? But with experience, you can kind of feel this out inside sales calls. Onboarding process.
I have time in a couple of hours if that works for you, say 2 o'clock.
So that's amazing, right? He even says in a couple of hours, right? It's 100% sure that he wants to join the program. He just needed a little bit of time.
My time, I think.
And you're Eastern time or what time zone?
Yes, Eastern time.
2 o'clock. Okay, 2 o'clock. Yep. So I will just, instead of sending you the calendar link, I will just send you the Zoom meeting.
Got it.
Okay, on Instagram. And
if you want to let me know if there's any detail I can send you, like my address and stuff, I can send that in advance as well.
That's even stronger, right? He also wants to help me sign the create the contract, everything. So this is a very strong. These are multiple very strong signs that he does want to jump in. At this stage, right? There's no sense in pushing more because I'm 100% confident that he just really seriously had to jump off of the call, right? Because the call got a little bit too long. He only had an hour for that, right? So in this case, it's safe to jump off the call. But again, in 99% of cases, at this stage, you should still ask, yeah, no problem. So just in case, like, if you have 10 minutes, you can get it rolling, you can try again to get the close on the call. Yes, and by the time the meeting happens, I will already have sent you the contract and the payment request, so we can get things rolling really quick. But I will write down what I need, like your phone number, your home address, because phone number is needed for the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much, man, and see you in a few. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you so much, Robin.
See you, my man. So obviously, there was the follow-up call, right? Let me just quickly scroll there. No, every short email. No. So obviously, I'm just going to follow the meeting, right? Exactly where we left off. As I expected, Steven jumped back on the meeting. Hey, man. Yep. Okay. Can
I can hear
you?
you now.
Yes, I can. I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hey.
Nice one, man. Nice one. So, how were the meetings for work? Again, I already did a follow-up meeting breakdown, right? Never immediately jump in continuing, right? Always ask a little bit how was the day before, right? To create a vibe. That's just a really good thing to do. It has a prospect that you're not rushing to close. You don't need anything from them, right? It just creates a nice little natural vibe for the call.
Intense, but all good. All good. Everything's positive. It's just a lot. So
Sure thing, man. No, I can imagine. Okay, did you manage to have a word with your partner, like to let him know, like, what's up?
no, I didn't. There and
Yes, so he texted me, right, on social media that he would need to have a word with his partner, whatever, right? So some concerns came up, okay? I hope that he would be able to have a word with his partner by this time, right? Unfortunately, he couldn't, so we'll see how I get that sorted.
work, so it's pretty tricky right now. But I did take a look through the contract as quickly as as best I could. So I think for me, the next step is really I just want to take a moment to review it. I really like it. As I said, I'm high, probably a 9 now. I'm feeling more. Now it's sinking in. I'm even more committed. But
Right, that's crazy good. Okay, he really wants to do it, right? He even had some time to think about it. Again, this is why I'm saying that some new problems came in while he jumped off the call, right? So 99% of the cases don't let someone jump off the call if they are almost at the spot where they are buying, right? I made a little bit of a mistake there. I trusted my gut. At the end, it all worked out because we closed Steven for 3K up front, but it could have been a close going away if I don't have the level of experience where I can allow myself to do that. If you don't have my experience, definitely don't go this way. Definitely always at every call go for the hard close, and with experience you're going to be able to pull things like this off.
we just want to um, take like an evening to go through it and understand it and kind of finalize the commitment.
Yep, of course, sure thing. So obviously this is an objection, right? So it means that he needs to think about it. Again, obviously you're not going to let him go easy. It's not a problem, man. In terms of going through and thinking about it, what exactly would you need to think about? So you mentioned that you're at a 9. You would love to jump into the coaching, and also I wanted to tell you that it's 16 weeks in the contract, and I forgot to tell you that we are offering bonuses at the moment. Yes, so as I mentioned, I messed up this call multiple times, right? If you have experience, there is room for error as long as your pitch is really good, right? You don't need to be a perfect objection handler in order for you to close deals, right? That being said, 99% of the cases don't make these mistakes. Performance, so you would get a full extra month of coaching. Also,
Okay.
that's like sorry, just that's how also the contract was prepared. I just forgot to tell you that in my last meeting, it doesn't make a huge difference, but we want to fill up the last spaces as fast as possible. So that would be 4 months of coaching instead of 3. Doesn't make a huge difference. I just wanted to tell you that that's also included. It's a bonus. We don't offer this to everyone. We want to fill up the last space in the program. So if you saw that and if you thought that that's weird, I wanted to tell you that here in the meeting. So in terms of just so again, this is this could have sounded really salesy, right? I did it in a really nonchalant way, to push him a little bit more on the close, and also this is just true, right? I forgot to mention the bonus that he is getting, right? Again, 99% of the cases don't let people off of the call thinking about in the first place. Like what's everything is fine, of course. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's your decision. I would just like to understand if there is any doubts maybe that you have or any questions that you would like to ask me.
I don't
Right? I dig deeper. Are there any issues? Are there any concerns?
think it's so much doubts. I think it's just that I want to make sure I've read through the whole contract because I'm working in finance. I get contracts a lot, and I like to make sure that everything is in order before I rush into anything. So it's not so much that I have doubts on the program or what's been explained. I just want to really like read it through and kind of understand the financial commitment and what's being offered. So that's where I'm thinking of kind of getting this started sort of early next week. So it's more about just having that kind of one day or a few hours to make sure I've read it all through because I'm just not the kind of person that would want to jump on a call and then have like a 6-page contract and sign out for $3,000, but that doesn't mean I'm not interested. It just means that I'll just want that a little bit of time to make sure I've read all the small print, and if I have any questions that I've had the opportunity to ask before I go straight into signing, if that makes sense.
So obviously, right, the always keep in consideration that we had a really, really strong core before, okay? That being said, I'm not going to let him off the hook this easy, because obviously these all sound like excuses, you know, like he's at a 9, he loved the program, right? What difference would thinking about it a few days mean? Like there is nothing crazy in that contract, you know, he just reads it through right here on the call. No reason why I shouldn't close this deal on the call. So obviously I continue, I dig deeper.
Sure thing, man. And did you have a chance to read through the contract? Like that's something that you did?
Not in full detail, but I scanned through it because I've been busy with work. But I've managed to take a good look through it. Everything looks good. I just want to make sure I've read the whole thing. And I wanted to ask, because it's mentioned on there the 3,000 due on the one day. Do you have any kind of like recurring payment plans, or is it a set payment?
Yes. So look, I mean, it depends, right? So would the full amount be an issue? Because most of our clients, like it's a very rare occasion that you know we break payments down. There are a couple of reasons why we do that. Most of our clients pay upfront. First of all, because you know.
Again, right, the classic, can we break the payments down, right? Always answer honestly, always explain why most of our clients paying upfront, or why most of your clients pay upfront. Always go for the upfront payment, right? If there is no, you know, he already said in the meeting before that he has the money, he has the financial means, that's not a problem. So most probably that's not going to be an issue, right? Why not go for the upfront close?
If you jump in and you have skin in the game, right? Like you have an upfront investment that helps in execution, you know, holds you accountable even more. Like financial commitment can also hold you accountable. Like the results are usually even better for clients who invest upfront. That's just a psychological thing. And second is just simply how we work usually, you know, like I'm confident that I can get you the results. You have a guarantee in there, you know, like I know that we can get you the results inside the amount of time. 20 pounds is you know, it's easy. There is a guarantee, so that's how usually the upfront payments are going. Like, is that a problem? Like, would you be able to do the upfront payment?
I would be
right? And then I asked if he can afford it, basically, just in different words.
able to do it, but I guess again, it's something I just want to make sure that I talk about because it's a big investment. So that's another reason just to talk it through. So it's not so much that it's a problem, but I know the first question my partner will ask is, did you look at like options and payments just for
right? So slowly and steadily he's talking more and more, and I obviously start to understand that the real problem is not the contract, it's not any of that stuff, right? It's literally the fact that he would need to come to an agreement with his partner, right? Which makes sense, okay? Now this objection can come up really often. Most of the times it's an excuse, okay? But when you have a really sure call like this, it could not be an excuse. It is actually most probably the real objection, right? It's really tough to solve. Sometimes you can't really solve it because no matter what you say, it will just become too salesy and too pushy, okay? I literally had sales calls before where I got the partner, like I already uploaded one of those, right? I got the partner on the call, right? And then I handled the partner's objections and then I closed on the call. If the person can't get a hold of their partner, then most probably you won't be able to solve this objection, right? Then the best you can do is quite literally make sure that the prospect doesn't have any specific other objections. If they have solved everything, right, solve the main objections of the prospect himself, right? And after that, make sure that you get him on your team. You can even give him ideas, right, how he should convince the partner about joining, right? And then it will be easier to join. But that's a tough and messy close because kind of after someone jumps off the call, you have no control over what to do. So this is how you should handle that, right? So let's see how I am handling it. As I mentioned multiple times, this is a pretty messy close.
For that reason, so that's why I'm asking. It's not that the upfront is a problem because I'm quite lucky that with my new job, like finances are okay, and pretty good. But so it's something I could pay, and even if I wanted to just do it in installments through my credit card, that's fine. I can do that because then, as you say, it's paid up and then I'm fully accountable from the day one. So that does make sense. I just wanted to make sure that I checked the options, because that's the first thing they'll ask me
Of course.
is how are you paying for it, right? So let's be honest.
So obviously he's justifying himself, right? So, he's completely okay with paying upfront.
Of course, no, of course, man. I definitely understand that. As a very last resort, if there is no other possibility, we could talk about it. But as you mentioned, because financially it wouldn't be a problem, I believe for you as well, in terms of getting into the program, that would be the best possibility. It's just the best way of doing stuff like that. That's our experience also with clients. If there is like, obviously, I'm not someone who, if you are not able to get into the program this way and you would be able to get into the program in another way, I would rather start working with you, right? So we have people who are in between jobs, and and they just didn't, literally are not able to do that. We could maybe we broke it down, maybe 2 installments, something like that for those people, but it's a very, very rare occasion. So we work with 150 plus clients. Like, I think in one hand, I can count like how many times that happened before. So most people also prefer that. It's a very rare. If it's a strong reason, okay, maybe.
I'm a little bit over explaining. That's another mistake, right? I make a lot of mistakes on this call. Luckily, I still managed to get the close, right? That's why if you have the right script, if you have the right offer, if you have the right method, and you have the right system, you can make minor mistakes and you can still close deals.
We can solve something like that if it's a last spot. But so you can think that through. But so you mentioned that the amount wouldn't be an issue, so finances wouldn't be a problem here, right? And in terms of the program, right, you mentioned that you would want to think it through just before you jump into it. And I also thought that this meeting is important, is if you have any additional questions. It's like, in terms of thinking it through, like in terms of the program, right? I only would want you to get into the program if you would be happy to invest this amount into this program and you would be happy to start with the program. So in terms of the process and the
this is a really good sentence that you can always say before you start asking about the objection, right? Saying that I would only want you to jump into this program if you're 100% on board, if you're 100% happy with the program, okay? That's why I did that sentence, right? It's like a really empathetic, socially calibrated way of asking things. You can definitely use that as well.
Program. Do you have anything that you would need to think through or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think what we talked about in the earlier call, it really sounds like this is something that I need. I've taken the time, we've looked at the videos, we've already had kind of a week to really think about it and to think about the program. So I don't think there's any doubts. I think it's just a question of getting the document, the contract, reading it through, and making sure that if there's any questions that come up from it, that I can connect with you on before that. But I'm talking about one day. I don't want to delay it more than that, because it's something I do want to commit to.
Sure thing, man.
So again, he just the way he's talking about this thing, right, sounds like obviously I'm not letting it go, but it sounds more and more like he just needs that bit of a time. There's a very small percentage of people who needs a bit more time to tell about the thing that they want to get into to their partner, right? And then they jump in, right? There's a very small percentage of people. Steven was like that, okay? I had multiple people who I closed like that, okay? Now this is your experience as a closer to understand when it's better to let someone off of a call. Again, 99% of the times, it's not the best idea.
Sure thing. So just a quick thing I would want to say. So look, obviously, I understand if you would need a bit of time.
Obviously, I don't let it go.
Right. Obviously, I think it's self-explanatory. But I would rather want you to jump into the program as soon as possible. Yeah. Right. So I think I'm 100% sure that you understand that. Obviously, because it's not just about the business side of things. It's also about your results. Because if you would, sign the contract, I could put you into the WhatsApp group right away. I could start working on your plans. Like by the time that you skim through the whole thing, I would already be able to work on your plans. Give you different plan options. And then if you want to start next.
It's also a little bit messy when someone really seriously wants to think a full day. It's because no matter what you're going to ask, right? I had multiple questions about whether or not they have any objections, but all of the objections were solved, right? All of the objections were solved. So it's really hard to do stuff when they don't give you anything, like in this case, okay? So quite literally the way that I'm going is I'm just trying to somehow reason with the fact that it's better for him if he jumps in right now, and it's not going to change a lot of things. It's not going to have any negative impact on him instead of positive impact.
Next week, then we could go on full force, like that. There wouldn't be any delay. Now, in terms of if that's something that you're not comfortable with, I 100% understand.
Obviously, I show empathy, right? Never make people feel like you're forcing them to do anything. It's always up to them. At the end of the day, it's always the prospect's decision.
The only thing is, I think the easiest is if you would skim through the contract, right? Because there is nothing crazy written in there. So what's written in the contract is literally what we talked about. So if you check the part where there is the services, right?
Yeah.
And exactly written that it's 16 weeks of coaching, what you're going to get. There's exactly the payment, the date of the payment. You know, there is
right? Obviously, I still get him to take action, right? So I literally told him to read through the contract right now. Okay, so never let people go easily, right? There's no reason why Steven shouldn't buy right now, right here on this call.
Where you live, right? Where the business is set up, right? The basically the what was the English word for that? The HQ of the business, the address. And and other than that is just basically legal stuff that I need to basically be worried about when I pay taxes, when I show the contract, to the government and stuff like that. So it's nothing crazy. Everything that we talked about is in there.
Yeah.
I don't want to push you to like, hey man, like go ahead. But what I would request you to do is if you could maybe open the contract right now, skim through it a little bit, and if there is any questions, please ask it on this call, because if we have a bit of time, if what
right? I come from the frame that while we are on the call, that's when I can answer any questions, right?
Once you're on this call, it would be the best. And of course, after that, if you still want to skim through it after, no problem.
Yeah, I've got it open. I did a quick skim through before the call.
So obviously he's reading through the contract.
As well as the extra. Okay, yeah, I've skimmed through, yeah, everything. On the surface, everything looks good. I don't have any questions. I think the other thing that stands out as well is the extra. It says the lifetime access. So how does that work in terms of?
Right? Still very good that I got him to read it through, because now he has a question that if I didn't answer, right, if I didn't give him a chance to ask this question, right, this is why objection handling is crazy important. What objection handling is basically allowing people to ask questions from you and also making them make a good decision, helping them making a good decision by discovering any possible concerns that they have. 99% of the times, the person you're talking with don't even know what their concern is. You need to be the expert and the leader in helping them figuring out what their concern is. We didn't know that there could be a question like this before, right? So now I'm just going to handle that.
Continuing to be in touch kind of after the 16 weeks.
Yeah, so basically what it means, and this is again the bonus aspect of things, so it's not something that everybody gets. It's quite literally that we just have the last few spaces in the program. We literally have last 2 spaces because, the beginning of like the school year, September, October, many parents join. People are like, okay, now the kids are in school. I can finally pay attention to myself, so that's why we get filled up. So that's in addition to the extra 4 weeks that you would get. Also, the lifetime access is
right. I'm basically just explaining the bonus, right? Extremely important. Always give a reason why people are getting bonuses, right? So they know that you don't just throw it around. They just feel special, and this is how the bonus will feel like a catch.
Basically, you will stay in the group, right? We're going to have a WhatsApp group, as I already mentioned, as you know of.
Yeah.
It's going to be you, me, and my brother, and you will be able to ask me questions basically for the rest of time. Like once you're a client, you're going to stay a client in terms of accountability and support, right? Now, obviously, it's not going to be as intense in terms of accountability as like every single day I will ask, okay, hey man, like I will executing because it's just the program ended. But anything that you want to ask, anytime you want to jump on a call, anytime you have a question, anytime you want to prepare a meal and you don't know how, I will always be there to basically support you. Now, obviously, we don't hand out a lot of these, right? Because it's a big commitment, but that's also in there. So that's basically.
Again, I double down on the fact that we don't hand out bonuses to everyone, right? It's a big commitment, right? It's a huge thing, right? And make the bonus even more awesome, okay? Your bonus should always be a really, really good thing, okay? That's how it's going to motivate people to jump in.
It works. So you will get lifetime access to our accountability and support system, basically. That's how it will go. So yeah, that's basically the extra there.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That all looks good. I mean, I do want to just I want my partner to have a look at it. I don't want them to come home and be like, I signed this contract because
Steven is not giving it to me easy, right? So, the last thing that he still wants to do is talk with his partner. At this stage, everything is solved. Everything. He's really into the program, but he just needs to tell this to his partner, right? Obviously, again, I dig deeper because I really want to get the close in the call. Because after the call, you lose control. You don't have control over things.
Haven't discussed it, so I do just want that. It's only 2:00 here in the afternoon, so I can still get that done today if even if needed. But I just want that little bit extra time. But everything looks good. There's nothing that's coming out as a question for me.
Okay. Sounds good, man. So, of course, if you want to do that, 100%. Last little thing that I want to say here, right, is, if there is any chance that we can get things moving maybe on this call, that would be amazing. Now, look, everything is set up, right? You want to jump in. The contract looks good. Obviously, there is nothing.
Right, at this stage, I almost don't understand why he's not buying, right? So it has to be true what he's saying, right? At this stage, everything else is talked through. People are not going to lie to you, right? Like, people won't be for 2 hours on a call with you to lie, okay? So everything is correct, right? So I just need to assess the situation, like, man, why aren't you jumping into the program, But you should never lose composure as a closer.
Think shady in there, right? You read through it. Why would there be? The payment is correct. You would be able to do it. You want to start right away. Now, the last thing that you mentioned is like basically your partner. You want your partner to know about it, right? So, do you think that if you jump into the program, that they would have any issue? Like, do you think that would be a problem, or
extremely strong question when someone needs to talk with their partner and you know that that's the real objection, right? Always ask, do you think that... So basically, let me go from A to Z, how you handle the partner thing, if you can handle that. Okay, so first option, always understand what their partner is like. Okay, so are they supportive of their goals, right? Are they the bread earner in the relationship, right? Do they have connected finances? These are all good things that you can also figure these things out in the discovery phase of your call, right? In the beginning, before you even say the whole pitch and you're on this stage. Now, the best way of doing that, right, is that you ask, okay, so do you think that there would be any problem, right? If you jump into this, do you think that your partner would be supportive of that, right? Do you think that they would be angry, right? And they could say no or yes, right? The next stage is you want to get the partner, you want them to talk with you want to get the partner on the call so you can handle them, right? If there is no other way, right? Always ask them, is there any chance that your partner could join this call? Okay. If there is no chance for that because the partner is not around, ask them if they could call them, right? So we can talk it through, right? You're sitting there on the call, the prospect called their partner, they're talking with their partner, and you can always answer their questions live, right, in real time. Or if that's not a possibility, if they can maybe turn off their cameras and the microphones and quickly call them and then come back with any questions, right? If that's not a possibility, then just obviously give them options of how to actually convince the partner, right? That's the last resort in these cases.
They would be happy that that you jumped into the program.
I think we should discuss first. I mean, I don't think there's no issue. It's more about the financial commitment of spending money and saying, and I don't have a problem with it. There's no doubt or concern. It's just that communication side of things, right? Rather than saying, oh, I already did this and I spent this money, saying this is what I am doing. It's not a question of asking for permission or having someone else have.
Okay, so this is a really sure thing, right? It's quite literally coming down to the fact that he just needs to tell his partner before, which is a real thing. This can be a real thing.
Doubts or anything like that. It's more about just making sure that I'm saying, hey, this is what I'm doing and I'm going to spend this and do this, as opposed to, hey, look what I did today. You know what I mean? So.
Of course. No. Yeah. I understand. So it's basically about, because then it's, it's outside of my territory, so to speak, because that's like how you guys do things in the relationship.
Yeah.
That's completely up to you. Okay, man. So, so what I will do is I will also send you the payment request on PayPal. Okay. When do you think you would be able to talk with your partner? I'm asking because I think the best would be is if we have a lecture, because I thought that this is going to be the onboarding meeting.
So basically this call is done, right? So obviously Steven jumped off the call. I couldn't close on the call. I sent him the payment request. I sent him the contract, right? And later that day he transferred, right? But this is only a possibility if you 100% make sure that there is no other problem, everything else is handled, you did everything correctly, they are really, really on board. They just quiet. You also know that the partner is supportive, and they just literally need to inform the partner before transferring $3,000 to some random person, right? That's the only thing, okay? I had it multiple times where I had this situation, I still closed, okay? That being said, still with this level of certainty, when someone jumps off of a call, your chances of closing is maximum 50-50, even in a case like this, okay? So there was also luck involved that the partner didn't come up with some kind of problem, right? They didn't change their minds, right? That something bad happened that day that changed their mood, right? There are so many things that could have happened once you come off of the call, right? I did everything extremely well. It's a really messy close, just so you can see that you can close deals like this as well, all right? Generally speaking, you shouldn't let people off of the call, okay? But in this case, it was the good decision. I made a good decision. I had a good gut feeling. And also at this stage, I couldn't have done anything else, right? This is the right decision to do. So, yep, thank you very much. In terms of, if you like this video, if you like my other sales call breakdowns, if you checked out our YouTube, we quite literally share the biggest, most in-depth secrets in the online fitness coaching industry, right? In the business coaching industry as well. Like, we are not like those big gurus, right? I'm not going to just show my crazy good lifestyle. We are actually sharing all of the in-depth value completely for free. Basically, my whole YouTube is like a course. If you watch that, you can build up a six-figure company basically for free from my YouTube. So make sure that you check out every single video. Follow me on Instagram. That's very important, right? Check out my client results on Instagram. We have the most groundbreaking client results. You can also check out our interviews with our clients, all right? And if you're a fitness coach who is struggling with up and down months, you just need more people to sell to, right? You just need a higher closing percentage. Like, we are your people, okay? I have done this for 4 years, right? I've been an online fitness coach. I scaled to multiple six figures. I closed $3,000 deals, okay? We are literally going to implement every single system that we have been using, right? Personalized, one-on-one. So if that's you, right, you want to achieve that, make sure that you book a call with us, join our program. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.